we have here. They are local filmmakers, and they're fantastic, and they also are films they're going to show. So it's going to be a fun night. That's actually Saturday the 12th, so October 12th. And the night before is actually the KISS, Keep It Simple Stupid songwriting contest. And that is that's fun. That is a fun one. And Mark Hebert is going to show some more films in addition to the local. Are it for many years, and they have all kinds of services and instruments. The sheet music collection they have is really awesome, because usually you got to look online for that kind of stuff now, but they keep it in stock. There's a lot of stuff. Like, you want to go find the Led Zeppelin complete book, you can find it there. You want to go find the Taylor Swift book, you can also find it there. So it's a wide variety of stuff. And they also have lessons there. So there's that, and there are many other opportunities to do things musical, and you can check it out at universitymusiclowell.com. That's universitymusiclowell.com. And now we're here with Colette O'Connor. So how are you doing tonight, Colette?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm excited about University Music Lowell because they sound like real people doing real things, and online is just
right. Well, the line I've been saying is don't buy your guitar online. That's just I don't understand how you could do that. If you want to hear your guitar, you got to try it. And I don't know. I'm not the kind of person that orders stuff and sends it back if I don't like it. I hate doing that. It's a big hassle. So I don't. Especially with the whole guitar. I mean, you're going to mail that back. It's
such a personal relationship you end up in, yeah.
Right, and it's like, so...
well, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So we're going to talk tonight about Colette's life and work and stuff she's doing. She's been helping the Hearing Room quite a bit, and we appreciate that. And we also appreciate the stuff you've always done here, because you were in Songwriters in the Round early on.
Oh, sure. Well... the Hearing Room is one of those places that is a gateway to new music being heard. And so I love those.
Right.
Because like yourself, because you're a songwriter, like yourself, it's just this thing we can't stop doing. You know, if I walk to the ladies' room, I'm already thinking of like some weird little, melody and words just whatever, and driving, and it just happens. So when I put something together that's coherent, it's nice to have a place to play it.
Well, that's interesting. Jumping ahead a little bit in your life, you had 4 kids?
Yes, I still do, yeah.
Well, yes. You gave birth to 4 children.
I did, yes.
Or at least had them in your household at some point.
I'll go with the first. Okay. I totally earned it. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So when you had your children, did you find that you were like singing in the car with them and writing songs with them and getting their feedback on stuff?
I never sing in the car. I can have radios blaring. The kids can be listening to whatever they're listening to. It's just all this thing that goes on in my own head. I can hear the melodies, I can hear the things, so I don't even have to sing it. It's just in there. And so they were all different, but when one of my children wasn't singing, I knew something was wrong.
Oh, so they all are singers.
Yeah, they all had their own capacities, but I had one sincere singer at all times, and all through school that became a problem for him. So I know it's in there, the music. It just comes out in different ways, but... Yeah,
that's interesting, because I have been singing in the car with my son, and I only have one child. So he just rolls his eyes and gets annoyed and then sings along. So, and he's joined chorus, which makes me very happy. And actually, we're going to have a show coming up on Thursday with his teacher, who is in chorus. And, she teaches them songs and they sing them.
Fantastic. All of mine, I think, almost all of mine. Well, I have one that wasn't. But they were all in chorus. And it was this wonderful, horrible experience, depending upon the day.
Yeah. Well, this is new to me.
Music is important to keep in schools. I think, of course, is invaluable. Music and art, the creative arts, that's just all what we all do. We are all creative spirits. We all have to do something, and building something that's your own comes from these courses. So back-fed history and English and all those great things, mathematics, music and art are right up there. So I'm so glad that they're still in schools. There was that threat every once in a while that comes out. And I think they do reduce them. I think, But if you sing in the car, or like I would take the kids to see different musicals or museums, or we'd use the public resources that were already vested, and use that to sort of reinforce what went on in school.
Yeah. And it's very important, and we both know that. People who come to the hearing room probably know that too.
That's right. Guys are very valuable. Very valuable resource.
And why the people who come here are very valuable, because we are a community. That there's no community unless you show up.
It's so fascinating too, because you never know what's going to happen. Like today, you didn't expect to see Wags the dog sitting on the table,
right?
But there's Wags the dog.
Okay, so I'll explain that, because this is a podcast that does not include video. There's a. Is it a stuffed dog or?
Don't tell him that he's not real.
Okay, the real dog.
This is a basset hound that goes with me. He's my mascot, and so a lot of people that know me out in the world, the people from Carver Farmers Family Market yesterday met Wags, and Wags is just looks so real that I'm afraid to leave him in the car. So it goes with
right, because somebody will break your window and think you're torturing your dog.
Everybody says, I thought this dog was real, and don't tell him that he isn't, because he's just so friendly, and little people take him for walks. And
yeah, see, I thought Kaylin had brought a dog in here overnight and left it here.
She's artistic. One never knows.
She
Kaylin.
could have a whole sculpture in here overnight, and I wouldn't. I'd come in and I'd be, oh yeah, okay.
She creates.
Kaylin was
room.
here, and she did something.
Kaylin and Mark really kind of create this vibe of the hearing room.
Yeah.
And I just love being here, because there's books on this wall, and my CD's in that jukebox. There's an actual jukebox. I wish people could see this jukebox. It's beautiful, and my CD is in there. So that's an experience I didn't think I'd have, outside of the 80s. And so I love it.
Yeah. Do you know your number?
I think I'm 63.
Okay. So if you come to the hearing room, you can hear Colette's music for free just by pressing 63.
Yeah.
But then if you want to own it, you have to go online and find it.
Sure. Everybody streams nowadays, so I don't even know.
ColetteO'Connor.net.
It is me. Yep. ColetteO'Connor.net. Colette has one L. O'Connor has all O's. There will be a quiz.
All O's, so O.
Yes, O is me. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So let's get into a little conversation about you.
Okay.
So where'd you grow up?
I grew up in the country. So there is this little town called Plimpton, Massachusetts, where they still speak Elizabethan English. And that's pretty much where I sort of came into being. Before that, we lived in another town, Pembroke, Massachusetts, where elementary school was just trying not to get pummeled and hide, so you don't get pummeled. And so when we moved to the farm, it was a horse farm, working horse farm, cows and chickens, and all the things that I had to take care of. Not just me. My mom did the lion's share of the work, my dad and my sister. But I had to do the chickens in the morning before school and muck out the stalls before school and then get on the bus and go to school. So about 13 years old, it's me, a horse, a dog named Toby. The horse's name was Glory, and my guitar. And so after I got home from school, it was all about that. Because, see, transistor radios were all the rage. Dale Dorman was on, somebody out there is shouting it right now, and I can't remember the call letters of that particular radio station. But that one transistor radio, if the battery wore down, forget it. There was nothing on while I was... So that's when the music started happening in my head.
Right. Make your own.
Make your own, and then take the guitar and the horse out after everything was done. And go and write poetry, do a drawing, sing with the guitar. It was really idyllic, through those days. So, not too far, but that's not where I'm from.
Okay, where did you where were you born?
So, San Diego, California had this Navy base. It's still probably there, San Diego Naval Base. And that's where I was born because my dad was shipped out on destroyer for I think it was the Korean conflict. And I was sort of hanging out with Mom while he was doing that. So she...
And his daughter was seeing Radar, who came home and thought he was Daddy, and so he's all upset.
Ah, well, the protagonist,
right? The 2-year-old protagonist, yes. So, you were somewhat involved with the Navy and some stuff having to do with music, I guess, right?
Well, Dad was in the Navy. I grew up not hearing any of those stories until most recently. I think he's been able to really, open up and talk about these things. Very proud of his years in the service. And I know that he started playing the guitar because he was shipping out and he found a guitar in the rubbish and pulled it out and it had one string. And so he taught himself to play the 1-string guitar. And then when they landed somewhere, he taught himself to play a 4-string because it was a 4-string guitar. So that's how his love of guitar happened. And I liked that story because when I was a kid, he'd come home from work and to unwind, he'd sit in his room and I'd hear him playing the guitar and singing. Now, usually when you have a parent in a closed door, that's usually, that's their thing.
Right.
But I would knock and go in and sit and listen, and then he would have me sing harmony to Sloop John B., and that's how I sort of learned a lot about those things. But the tie-in with the Navy is that's how he started with the guitar. His love of guitar really fostered my love of guitar. And so when the USS Massachusetts was having a fundraiser, they've got a foundation now. It's like Battleship Cove, and it's in Fall River, and it's a wonderful place to go. But they were looking for an entertainer and to do their Navy Christmas. So I said, not only will I do Navy Christmas, but I'll really fit 1940 style and give you a full working radio show so that your audience can understand what it's like to be involved in 1942 live radio. We'll do drama. We'll do the music. So
that's cool.
Cut to the day where I'm getting my hair done and the banana curls and the whole thing. And I had a cohort that time, Mike Doyle, and he sort of played my straight man. So I was more like we were sort of a duo that did Navy Christmas, and it went so well that they had me do Steel Beach Barbecue. So now I've got 2 traveling radio shows. And Steel Beach Barbecue was just this past summer. It was the inaugural of... So I took everybody through what a live radio show is like, 1942 Hollywood with Gary... Oh, there we go. Yeah, My mom had to deal with the reality. I was just...
In 1940, it's black and red and looks
with my
good.
banana curls.
Banana curls.
And Santa was there. Oh, my gosh. The Santa
and I see
was actually there.
What's the dog's name?
That's Wags.
Okay, well,
See?
I see Wags is in the
There
picture
you go.
too.
So now, radio people, if you're on the internet,
please get up,
which is a big steal, and I'm able to tune in an actual radio broadcast from 1942 to get us all involved. So I don't have to bring the whole band. Tommy Dorsey can stay with the guys, and they're broadcasting from Hollywood, 1942, and I get to connect with my sisters in song.
Nice.
And it sounds a little bit like this if we can get it to work. We can't.
Well, maybe.
Well, yeah. We've been having some technical difficulties today with electricity, I think.
Yeah. So, well, while you're doing that, maybe...
well, I wasn't ready to tune in quite yet. Yeah, so let's get ready for that.
So, we're talking with Colette O'Connor, who's here talking about her time when she went to Battleship Cove and sang songs and did a show for them in 1940s garb. And in a moment, we're going to hear it.
Well, I'm having trouble connecting to 1942. It's kind of tricky.
Well, that's because it's from the 1940s and you're trying to connect it to a Bluetooth.
See, I knew you would understand me. I knew you would understand
for sure.
me. Let's see if it works now. You seen him up and down the avenue, but now he's wearing navy blue. Well, she had a tear in the corner of her eye as he said his last goodbye. Shoo, 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 baby. Shoo, 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 baby. Bye, 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 baby. Do-da-do-day. Your papa's off to the 7 seas. Don't cry, baby. Don't sigh, baby. Bye, 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 baby. Do-da-do-day. When I come back, we'll live a life of ease. Seems kinda tough now to say goodbye this way, but Papa's gotta be rough now so that he can be sweet to you another day. Bye, 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 baby. Don't cry, baby. Shoo, 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 baby. Dee-da-dee-day. Your Papa's off to the 7 seas. Shoo, baby. Don't shush me. Hey now. I mean it. Well, I never. Quiet! I want a little bit of quiet in this house, please.
He wants a little bit of quiet in the house.
Your Papa's on his way to cross the 7 seas, so don't you cry or don't you sigh now. Shoo, shoo, baby. Shoo, shoo, shoo.
Like how you're doing all the actions, even though, yeah, you're in a chair, but I can imagine that if you weren't, moving around a lot.
One must. That's just the nature of that kind of music. So if that doesn't get you moving and grooving, I don't know what will. But to me, that's a lot of fun to be able to really enliven. And I'm working on, that's a show that I can take on the road. So we've got a full script. It incorporates people from the audience if they want to. It's very interactive. But that was the nature of live radio. So like right here, if we had an audience, you sitting at home, you couldn't see the actions, but the people here, it's all about integrating sound effects. We had sound effects. We got things going on.
So now I'm going to show you my nerdiness, and that I actually know a lot about old radio because my grandfather used to give me cassettes, because in L.A., where he lived, they had a radio show in the afternoon on public radio somewhere. I don't think it was NPR, but they did like 3 hours of radio shows, and it would be hosted by somebody. So they do Suspense and The Shadow and The Lone Ranger and all these different ones. So I've like memorized some of the beginning of like The Shadow. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows. The Shadow is Lamont Cranston,
Perfect.
a young man about town who years ago in the Orient learned a strange and mysterious secret. The secret power.
These radio shows still. Old time radio is just fantastic.
There's podcasts of it for free. You can go and download, all the shadows and all that stuff.
Well, I got to work with all the people, a lot of the people that were actually doing these things.
Oh, yeah? Some of the radio guys?
Yes.
Wow.
Because Massasoit Community College, which is in Brockton, Mass., they had this old-time radio show, and Professor Bob Bowers was really key in bringing all these people in. So I interned there for 2 years, and then they hired me to work there for 4 years after that. So I got my associates and didn't really have to go on much after that, because I got to do what I love doing, which is help people express themselves through theater and the arts. And
that's great.
Yeah, so that was all part of that. But I got to have some lessons about. I was Marilyn Monroe's footsteps during Some Like It Hot. It
how
was
do you do
great.
that? How?
How?
Can you do it now?
I had to have shoes. I had to.
Oh, so you don't have the shoes.
I just stand
now.
there, and walk, and do the thing.
Or like
so
the
Foley artists were the ones that. But I get to do the walk on and be Marilyn Monroe's footsteps during that particular thing, and I thought, well, what pair of shoes to walk in. That's not too bad, actually.
That's cool. And, those are always fun to listen to. But, podcasts, maybe we're going back to that. Let's see.
I think so. I think that's exciting. This is sort of a return to that with a twist, because there are these podcast dramas that are great sci-fi,
right.
And so I think it's not bad. What the show that I want to do is I want to bring it live around to, say, nursing homes or community centers, and do this show, whether it's the Steel Beach Barbecue one or Navy Christmas. These are things that I've written. I put them together and compiled them with scripts and sound effects. So, like I've got a book here. We just, there you go. We hand them out and do it. And at schools, so that people can actually really experience that as a live show.
Right, and participate maybe.
Wicked fun.
Bring them into it.
That's exactly what I love. I love that.
And that sounds like a great idea. Maybe we could do it at the Hearing Room sometime.
Freaking love that.
Yeah, we should try to put that together, figure out a night when that would work, and try to see if we can get some nursing homes maybe in Lowell.
Absolutely.
Who would, want people to come.
And everybody should learn this music and listen to this music. It's just fantastic music. I was blown away because the craftsmanship of how they arranged this stuff, the big bands that went behind it. Oh, it's just been so enriching for me as a lover of music to really expand into it. And nowadays, rockabilly is huge. People, like I'm dressed in that photo, they go places, they do rockabilly competitions and dances, and these are young people, young people today. So, I mean, I'm not really a young person anymore. Raised all my kids, and now I'm kind of doing my thing, which is another adventure.
Right.
Another phase of life.
So, how old are your kids now?
So I'm not good with ages. I'd have to actually check their birth certificates. I know that I did have them, and there was a progression of time that happened, but basically it was just every day was a new challenge. And so I think I've got one that's on the cusp of 40. I've got one that's a couple years younger than that. I got my daughter who's in her mid-20s. Going for windows here.
So how's that possible when you're 29? I don't.
See, this is radio, isn't it? Yes, I am. No.
Yeah.
And then and then my youngest is just started Mass Art, and so he's up there, being a freshman. Mm-hmm. And I am in my senior year now at SNHU, Southern New Hampshire University, where I put myself back in to finish that bachelor's, and it's.
And what's your bachelor's in?
Right now, it's mass communications. Professional writing is sort of the main push there, because communicating is tricky. Putting it in writing is sometimes even trickier. So, figure if I can get that down, I'd be doing all right. And then my minor is philosophy, because you got to think about something before you write down. So
yeah, it helps. It's not necessary, but it helps.
I'm holding myself to my own track, and I appreciate it, because playing with the thoughts, sometimes the thoughts become songs. Sometimes, I wrote a song, Writing in the Sand, and it was really originally called Archimedes' Riddle, and my father said, you just can't, you're just not, where you don't have a beatnik, snap your fingers anymore. So can you just please call it Writing in the Sand? So yeah, I call it Writing in the Sand.
I like the Archimedes one, but
yeah. Writing in the sand, and that's writing in the sand does not remain, so
it's true.
Waxing existential sometimes.
That's why people like those sand Zen things that you can put on your desk. My wife has one that you rake it, sure, and you arrange it, and you draw things in the sand. It's nice.
I've seen them at the mall.
I guess you don't have
my youngest got a job at a golf course, and he was doing that with the big ones, the sand traps.
Yeah. What do you have to write?
He had to rake them.
Oh, okay.
The sand traps for golfers. So.
But he didn't get to write messages.
I don't know if he did. I think probably wouldn't have liked that too much. But
okay. So we haven't really talked about one big part of your life, which is you're a singer-songwriter.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, you forgot. So you do a lot of your own original stuff. How many albums do you have out? I know You had I have one of them.
Right, and so does everybody.
Okay. So there's one. Okay.
No, my first album was called Web in the Corner, and it was nobody heard of it. It was sort of an artist release, and I had it, and I brought it to shows and handed out, and for a while there I did have it supported online, all the things, and then came out with my second album, which was more, all right, this is me more, a little bit more mature, more interested, invested in, and so that's I Think I Am, and that's out there everywhere right now. I mean, you can find it on Spotify and all those places. So that's the one that Pulse Magazine liked and the Worcester Music Awards liked.
Did you win, or?
I got nominated for Nick Noble, who was on last week.
Right.
He picked it out among his 15 top favorite albums of that year. I think it was like 2016.
That's great.
It was great. And then Pulse Magazine picked it up and said, nominated for CD of the year. So we went to Worcester Music Awards where all that was being held. And I had a great time. And didn't win, but it was really fantastic.
Did you get all dressed up, or was it casual?
I did. Everybody said I looked like Bonnie Raitt.
That's not a bad thing.
No, I loved it. I was just like, okay, good.
I would take that as a compliment.
I take autographs from people that say really nice things to me. I said, that was super nice. Can I please have your autograph?
Really?
I do.
That's a reverse way to do it.
No, I love it. If they're my hero at that point.
Because they like you.
It's not that they liked me, that they were a human being that reached out and said something, and they didn't have to. That was nice, uplifting, interesting, to my ego boost, because sometimes we need that.
Right.
People believe in you, then you can be like, all right, I can do anything.
Right.
Reality check sometimes happens and takes you down a peg or two, but everybody, that happens to everybody. That the person next to you goes, "It's okay, get back up, you'll be fine." That to me, that's humanity.
Yeah, and I like that. That's a good way to look at things. How do you bring that into your songwriting too?
All the time, because this is what it's for. I was at Brockton Hospital with a terrible situation, and someone that I was helping through this big ordeal, and I was just going down the hall, and a woman stopped me, and she was devastated. You could tell her life was just devastated. She was a big mess, and she grabbed me, a complete stranger, by the arm, and she said, "What do I do?" And she looked at me, tears are flowing, and I looked at her with all of my heart, and I just said, "I believe in you. I know that you will find it. I know that you can do this. I don't know what, I didn't tell her I don't know what it is, because to me, it was absolutely everything. And I just know that you can do it." And my daughter says, "Mom, you're just a mom to everybody. You and I wanted like as many kids as I could have when I couldn't become a nun, but that's a different story." And so I feel these maternal instincts for, the guy on a motorcycle on the way here almost got hit by a car. And
I really?
Oh my gosh, I was whipping that lady off. I was so mad at her for, and because now I'm going to get behind this guy and I'm going to make sure nobody else bothers this poor motorcycle. It's just like, I don't know. I have that thing.
That protective instinct.
Well, I just know that we're given all these gifts, and whether we recognize them or not, it's all within us to be able to overcome it, to conquer it, to manage it, to cope with it, to help someone else through it. And it's just such a fantastic gift to be at the top of the food chain like we are, and not abuse it. Just use it for uplifting. And so that's just built in. I don't know where it came from.
So I don't think I can let the nun comment go. I think
I was so close.
Yeah, we were. So we talked about this a little before.
Yeah.
But so you went to high school, and then did you go right to college?
No, I went. I was in high school. I had gone from the private school, from public school to private school, then back to public school for high school.
Okay.
Had a fantastic fun time in public school, high school, but I just really didn't know how to relate. So I was that one that was sitting, with the guitar in the back of the room, quietly writing a song, or, paying attention. I learned to pay attention to people that are around the edges of society. The people in the middle are fine. They have friends, they're doing whatever, but it's the people around the edges that I found that are fascinating to talk to. The wallflowers, the people that are like me, that are just kind of quietly on the outside edge. And because they're not in the middle of the vortex, you can just say, hey, how are you? What's,
Almost become a nun.
So in elementary school, age 10, at school for medical reasons. And we were sort of on this waiting list, and it was kind of a long list. I had doctors that said, she's got to get out of public school. She's not going to survive it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that bad. And
That's
so we, I felt, my mother told me this long afterwards, but there was a student at the school died for whatever reason, and I got put, then I was able to get put in, and I have no idea about that situation.
That's creepy.
It was so creepy. But so I was able to get right out of the public school and into the private school, and about the 5th grade, met some fantastic people, and actually really learned what it was to be like a kid with other kids. And when they went to recess, I went to chapel.
Yeah.
And when they caught me doing that and put me back out at recess, I waited a while, and then I'd sneak back in and go to chapel again. So when they locked the chapel, then I realized that I could prowl the school kind of unattended while everybody else was at recess. So I did. And I found that the infirmed nuns were on the 3rd floor.
Wow.
There was like a nursing home up there. So I was looking in this little peekaboo hole through the door, and what I realized was there was like a 4-foot tall woman looking back out at me through the little peek hole through the door. And so I got sort of, get in here. And that's when I, saw that there's still like this little makeshift hospital. And my job at that point was to read to Sister Poet, or you're an artist. That's where your inspiration can find, the feeling will happen and it will come out in words. Oh, I really love this. And that's when they said, you have a calling, you should be a nun. And I said, oh, is that what that is? I had no idea. So my father recently told me that I was impressionable. And so
yeah,
it was about, it was the night of the novitiate dinner. It was the night where the nuns invited my mother and I to this beautiful, they have like the residence there. And they invited us in to this dinner, and they made this announcement. I imagine it like clink, clink, clink of the glasses, but I don't think probably they did that. But I just imagine it like at a wedding when they clink, clink, clink of an announcement to make. We'd like to invite Colette to pledge to become a novice. And I thought that was the best thing. I felt like I just won the Worcester Music Awards. I was so excited.
Right.
And my mother looked really uncomfortable. And I hope she forgives me for telling this story, but it's true. She said, I'm sorry, Colette can't become a nun because she was a nun in her last life.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty much how that went over. So what do you say at that point? I was, under 16, so you needed parental permission. I wasn't going to get it. And so pretty much it was just like that awkward, oh, well, this is weird. Well, okay, I guess I won't be doing that. So I had to find something else to do.
Wow.
Well, my mother being a spiritualist, she knows about these things. And so there.
Okay. So it could have been a different
life
yeah.
goes, there's a 90-degree turn. And
then you form a welding company after that?
Oh, well, I'm going to sing you a song first.
Okay, let's sing a song first. So we're talking with Colette O'Connor, and she's going to sing a song after the break. I'm going to say a few quick words while she gets ready. I am at the Hearing Room right now, as you probably know. The Hearing Room is in Lowell, Massachusetts, 119 Chelmsford Street. And we're a great place for all kinds of artists and musicians to hang out. We have lots of stuff coming up this week. We have on Friday night is the Keep It Simple Stupid Songwriter Contest. And on Saturday is Horror Movie Night, along with films by local Lowell artists. So these filmmakers come together once in a while at the Hearing Room, and they show films. We do have a projector, and we can watch them in a nice environment with some popcorn, coffee, and tea, and you should definitely check that out. And the Keep It Simple songwriting contest is at 7:30. The horror films start at 8, so it's 7:30 on October 11th is the songwriting competition, and you can come listen even if you're not entered. And also the horror films is on Saturday at 8 p.m. So we also have our regular events: Tuesday open mic, Wednesday, and that's 7 to 10. Wednesday, Let's Have Words, 7 to 10. Thursday, the Singin' Jam. That's a whole bunch of people playing together with words and chords up on the screen, and that's also 7 to 10. Then on Sundays, we have the Drum Circle, 12:30 to 1:30, the Open Mic, 2 to 5, and the Jazz Jam with John McCarran from 5 to 8. Lots of good stuff going on. And we'd also like to thank the people at University Music for helping sponsor this show. And that's universitymusiclowell.com. So you should definitely check them out. They've got all kinds of good stuff there. Buy your guitar in person. Don't buy it online. And that's good enough for the break here. Are you ready, Colette?
Good break. I want some of that popcorn coffee you were talking about.
Well, we can make it later. We're in the middle of the podcast now, so we don't want to be crunching popcorn.
I think he's got popcorn and coffee, but every time I come here, there's always something good. So we were talking about how life can go. That's my blinkers on. I'm really stickler for using a blinker. Otherwise, how are you going to know what direction somebody's taking? But you could go left, or you could go right. But whenever you get there, you're still going to be you. And that's the thing about life. So when it comes to that life taking a 90-degree turn, I didn't become a nun, but if I did,
right,
my kids would not be so happy with me. You know, so it
I
all
don't know
happens
that
for a reason.
Well, you wouldn't have kids.
That's
so,
what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
Existentially speaking. So this is the title track off of my CD, I Think I Am.
Okay.
I know my blinker's still on. And I do have to tell you, I have to modify my playing substantially because I'm missing a good section of one of my fingers. Just recently happened, so I'm modifying. But here we go.
Okay.
Walks with Dad in the sunshine, watching for robins with Mom in the spring. They helped me learn for the first time, and those are some fine memories. But I'm kind of mystified. Time keeps moving, never quite sure why. Now life is not in black and white. It's colorful and crazy, a little hazy sometimes, but for the most part on the straight and narrow. I am, I think 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 I am. How the wind blows every day rearranges things so often. A little wiser for mistakes. I am, I think 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 I am. Many things are undefined, but so in love with life. I think I am, I think I am. so at that point I said, nice, 'cause one question with all we share, here's a good connection. And if you're still there, here's my declaration. I think I am, 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 I think I am. And I think you are too. I think we're all similar that way.
Yeah.
I think I am, I think I am.
And what was that album called?
I think I am.
Okay.
I thought it was.
I wonder how I'll remember that.
So
I think I am.
It's not
a good
so,
chorus.
It's not so much a thing. I want you to relate to it more than anything else, because singer-songwriter stuff I know can be tricky because you're hearing somebody's heart. Like think about Joni Mitchell's. Her ability to really soar your emotions where you want to be, so you can really let loose, and it's howl if you want to or cry if you want to. And that's, to me, the real singer-songwriter vibe is something I want to continue. I'm not trying to be a pop queen. I'm not trying to give you, if it's catchy and you can remember it, great, and if you can sing along, fine. I want you to be able to relate to it, you relate to seeing a new face at the coffee shop, or you relate to that cup of coffee in the morning, or you relate to traffic,
right.
with emotion that lets you know this is what we're alive for.
Right. And